This time of year, the weather can be depressing, although I don't think it is, unless you're a glass half empty type person. Then you're going, oh yeah, but when will the other shoe drop? And it could be any time. And maybe you need an emotional support animal for that. This has been a rise in emotional support animals for years. It used to be just dogs. Dr. John Braccio with us to talk about that. Doc, good morning. Welcome to the What's Up Doc segment here.
Well, good morning to you, Mike. And emotional support animals really are important to a lot of people now. They can be a great help to an individual in this really complicated age, loaded with anxiety, depression, and uncertainty. And persons are still recovering from the COVID lockdowns that caused so much emotional havoc due to social isolation and the lack of certainty in life they experienced. And research has shown that during the COVID lockdowns, there was a noticeable increase in anxiety and depression in children and adults. It also was found that persons who had animals received much needed unconditional emotional support. At a time, more specific level, an emotional support animal can greatly reduce feelings of loneliness, anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder that many persons are experiencing and having problems overcoming. Really, an emotional support animal, or ESA, it's really another living creature, another really like a person who will give you unconditional love, companionship, and also the opportunity to hug and share time with an animal that can be seen as really solid emotional support in an often unforgiving world. And I certainly see the advantages for a person who feels lonely with a lack of love and caring to really seek out love and affection with an emotional support animal as a form of treatment to really help overcome suffering from just various mental health conditions and feel some relief from the symptoms that can make life very difficult and sometimes even cause suicide ideation. Maybe not often, but people can get that really lonely. Unfortunately, emotional support animals are available to persons when there is an emotional support animal letter verification by a mental health professional. The person needs the emotional support animal as part of their treatment to help them be able to better maintain their emotional life. And really, in fact, they're not really seen as an animal in the home or in an apartment. Actually, when the emotional support animal really is considered part of a person's treatment for conditions such as anxiety, depression, or post-traumatic stress disorder. I think in general, we certainly know, Mike, the importance of animals, for persons, older persons, younger persons, because any person really. But when you are going through a lot of difficulties from a mental health perspective, it can be very helpful to have an emotional support animal that is right there. We tend to think of dogs, but there can be any animals, but they can be really pretty terrific and pretty helpful.
Do we overuse them, though? Because you see them more and more, and it's that, okay, which side is it? Is it that there is more need, or are we just leaning too much on them?
Well, I would tend to think you're always going to have someone abusing a system. That's part of life. But the people I've talked to and have worked with, they really need them. They're really helpful. I mean, they really give them support. And, people in their lives often, some of the happiest moments they've had are with animals. And if you're really having anxiety and you're having a lot of depression or you're feeling really lonely, having an emotional support animal can be very helpful. On the other hand, we can call it what we will. I mean, I'm sure if we really thought about it, there are millions of people that have dogs or cats that don't really think of them necessarily as their emotional support animal as a specific, definition, but they offer that type of support. We think often in nursing homes and people in hospitals having, there'll even be dogs in the hospital or in the facilities that are available. So I think we tend to all, or most of us anyway, in our lives have had a close attachment, either past or present, or would like one, with, we'll say specifically dog and cat. It doesn't just have to be a dog and a cat, but those are overwhelmingly what they are. And if there are persons abusing it, that can be. But the people I've seen that go to the effort of getting, someone to sign off, getting a mental health worker to meet with them, to maybe have it part of their treatment, if it is part of their treatment program. This is pretty pretty helpful, pretty useful. And I've seen a lot of people in a lot of distress. I've had people come to my office many times with generally a dog. Okay, they'll bring a dog and just, gives people a lot of emotional support, loving, unconditional, doesn't yell at you. I mean, it can be just helpful.
Oh, you haven't met Caspian, our Bernese Mountain Dog. That thing yells, and it's like he talks. It's weird.
Well, listen, and I do agree. However, it certainly is attention, and it's something and often someone to love and care for. So I think I have not seen the abuse, but then again, anyone I've talked to who has one is aware of how necessary and can be helpful. There are a lot of lonely people out there, and there are a lot of people that are having difficult times, and that they're just. I know when I go to my son's house, and he's got that big German Shepherd, that jumps will almost knock me over, but lets me know he cares as he then goes back after knocking me or my wife over, almost goes back just to relax near the door. So I think they can be helpful, and people, just a lot of lonely people, a lot of people that need support, and just when you've got someone to hug and someone who's going to be there with you and just support, Mike, it's pretty big deal, helpful to many people, and it's something I support. Dogs tend to be,
best.
Yeah, I mean, cats are great. I'm a cat guy. On the other hand, I do see the remarkable relationships people have with dogs. They're really kind of amazing.
We have two dogs. We have a English golden retriever. She's kind of cream colored, white, and then we have the Bernese, he is a bear. This thing looks like a bear walking around. But I will tell you what. When you walk in the door, they're like, they can't believe you're there. They are so happy. And I think that's part of the deal, is it's welcoming. But here's the thing. Have you ever seen an emotional support animal that was weird, like a tarantula or a snake or something?
Well, fortunately, I have not. Okay. I hear they're there, and I'm not disputing what they might be. But in the world I live in, okay, they tend to.
You mean reality?
In Realville, we'll call it. I think that people, they tend to be dogs mostly, but cats too. Cats can fit in there for people. And I know people that don't, I think many people that don't necessarily consider them use the words emotional support animal. The boy, that dog or that cat, I mean, that can be pretty important in their life. And really, lonely, I said before, and I'll say it over again, loneliness is a pretty tough thing to deal with. If you're anxious, depressed, and just going through difficult times, having an emotional support animal can be helpful, even if you're in good times. I mean, having another loving person, like you say, you've got two in your house that really, they think you're the greatest thing in the world. I'm sure your wife and kids do also.
Only because I have a lot of the food with me all the time. That's why. That's the reason.
Well, food can be a helpful thing, but again, let's not underestimate, the importance of these wonderful creatures or animals, like people that are out there to give all of us really a better life, and gives us something to, really just feel attached to. In ancient Rome, you might have seen that when Spartacus, when there was in 79, I think it was AD, Vesuvius blew. What happened to Pompeii? They have some of this, what would you call it? Almost like a plaster cast that shows a person protecting their dog, and that's like 2,000 years ago. So it's not like it's a new thing, this love we have for animals and they have for us, and why people can often have emotional support animals to be very helpful to them. Animals are wonderful.
Dr. John Braccio, Regional Psychological Services. Find him on the web, drjohnb.com. Doc, until next week, I hope you have a marvelous time. Enjoy the weather.
Listen, enjoy yourself, my friend. Look forward to talking to you. Bye-bye.
All right, 1320 WILS.